Most people don't fail at investing because they chose the wrong stock. They fail because their calendar was louder than their plan. Paychecks arrived on Fridays, headlines arrived every day, moods arrived by the hour, and the money followed the noise. The antidote isn't a fancier model or a better guru, it's a schedule. Dollar cost averaging is the schedule. It is the practice of investing a fixed amount of money on a fixed cadence, weekly, biweekly, or monthly, regardless of whether prices are euphoric or miserable. To the impatient, it looks naive. To the exhausted, it looks merciful. To anyone who has watched a decade of markets, it looks like the only behavior normal people can keep through booms and panics without turning their life into a trading desk. The genius of dollar cost averaging isn't that it magically maximizes returns. Lump sums often win in purely mathematical backtests when you happen to have large cash ready all at once. The genius is that it maximizes participation. It keeps you in the game through the one variable you can control, showing up on a timetable. Participation is what lets compounding perform its quiet miracle. Most investors don't need the best possible return, they need a good return they can actually harvest because they stayed invested while their lives happened. Here's why the schedule works when your feelings won't. First, it divorces action from prediction. You stop auditioning for the role of person who knows when to buy. You buy because it's the 1st or the 15th or the day after payday. Second, it makes volatility your accomplice. When prices fall, your fixed contribution buys more shares. When prices rise, it buys fewer. Over time, your average cost per share drifts toward the market's middle instead of its worst peaks. Third, it preserves your attention for the parts of life that pay better than refreshing charts: your work, your relationships, your health, the craft that earns you raises and options. To use dollar cost averaging like an adult instead of like a slogan, you build a simple machine around it. You decide the amount, the cadence, the location, and the instrument. The amount is a fixed euro figure that your budget can keep feeding without you resenting it. Money you won't need for at least 5 years and preferably longer. The cadence should match when you actually get paid. If you're paid bi-weekly, contribute bi-weekly. If you're paid monthly, contribute monthly. If you run a business with variable income, set a percentage of revenue and an automatic sweep on the first business day after invoices clear. The location is the account that matches your goal and tax reality. Retirement plan at work, IRA or equivalent, a taxable brokerage account for flexibility, an education account if you're funding kids' future tuition. The instrument is the simplest one that owns the broad market at a low cost: a total market index fund, an S&P 500 fund, a global equity fund with or without a small bond slice, depending on your risk. If you need bonds to sleep, include them. If you're early in your career and can watch numbers wobble without losing your nerve, tilt stock heavy. The machine is not an IQ test. It's plumbing that moves money from Friday to forever on a schedule you forget to tamper with. If you want the schedule to survive real Wednesdays, you pair it with an architecture that protects it from your phone and your fridge. You run a 3-bucket budget: bills for needs, free spend for weekly wants, and quiet wealth for investing and big bills. Your dollar cost average draws from quiet wealth the day after payday, not from whatever is left at month end. The transfer is a bill, not a favor. It pays you first. You name the accounts so your phone whispers the plan every time you open it. You keep a small emergency fund, call it oxygen, so when a tire pops or a child gets sick, you don't raid your investments and turn a small surprise into a lost decade. Systems make bravery unnecessary. They allow ordinary you to behave like the patient investor you keep promising to become. What about timing? Won't you sometimes buy at the top? Yes, and sometimes at the bottom. Dollar cost averaging admits you can't know which is which in the moment and builds a process that benefits from not knowing. In long, rising markets punctuated by sudden shocks, the only kind we've ever had, spreading purchases over time smooths regret. You stop telling stories about the one perfect day you missed. You start telling stories about the one perfect habit you kept. If you're sitting on a windfall, a hybrid approach can help the nerves. Invest a chunk immediately and schedule the rest over 3 to 6 months. You avoid the paralysis of waiting for the right week, while also avoiding the stomach drop if the market falls the morning after you deploy everything. The place where dollar cost averaging shines most is during crashes. Markets drop quickly. News anchors learn new synonyms for turmoil. Friends text screens. This is when your schedule feels like cheating. The transfer still hits. You buy more shares with the same money. The price continues to fall. You feel foolish. The schedule doesn't. 3 months later, you have a lower average cost than your future self could have guessed, and you never needed to assemble courage at midnight. People love to romanticize buying at the bottom. They rarely do it. People who dollar cost average buy on the way down, on the way up, and at the bottom without needing to guess which day was which. The result isn't a highlight reel. It's an account balance that tells the truth over decades. All of this can be run with ridiculous simplicity: a single global equity index fund, and, if you want ballast, a bond index fund. You do not need factor tilts, sector bets, meme tickers, or a hobby in foreign exchange to make the schedule work. If you crave tinkering, quarantine it to a sandbox, 5% of your contributions where you're free to pick a few stocks or themes. The other 95% remains a robot that buys the world on schedule while you live. When the sandbox wins, periodically harvest the gains back to the core. When it loses small and never steals from your rent or your retirement. The point of the schedule is to remove your personality from the chemistry set that is the market. Your personality has better places to perform: negotiation rooms, project kickoffs, kitchen tables where you're not watching your phone. There's another reason dollar cost averaging matters: taxes and sleep. Contributing regularly to tax-advantaged accounts lowers your present tax bill in many systems, and reinvesting dividends without needing to think prevents little pools of cash from pooling long enough to tempt you. In taxable accounts, automatic reinvestment simplifies compounding at the cost of a slightly messier basis schedule. If this bothers you, let dividends pay to cash and sweep them on schedule with your new contributions. Either way, decide once and stop touching it. Sleep comes from the absence of decision, not from the illusion of control. Some people argue that dollar cost averaging is suboptimal because historically, investing a lump sum the moment you have it often produces higher returns. Markets tend to rise more than they fall, so time in the market beats time waiting. The critique is technically correct and practically incomplete. Most of your investing life won't involve lump sums. It will involve streams of paychecks. Dollar cost averaging is not an alternative to lump sum for salary earners. It's the only practical method. For actual lump sums, inheritances, business exits, the right answer depends on your psychology. If deploying all of it at once would make you stare at screens for weeks, you're buying yourself ulcers to win a theoretical edge. If you can dump it all and go on vacation without checking quotes, do it and layer your regular schedule on top. If you can't, split the difference and move on with your life. Perfect is expensive. Done is free. A confession most glossy finance videos won't make. The hardest part of dollar cost averaging is boredom. Once the pipe is laid, the money flows without drama. There are no knobs to twist, no meetings to attend, no leaderboard to climb. When friends brag about a single stock that doubled, your robot won't applaud back. You will start to wonder if you're doing enough. That's when you read your one-page policy. I invest X euros on the first business day after payday into Fund Y. I do not stop due to headlines. I rebalance when my stock-bond mix drifts by more than 5 percentage points or once a year. I increase contributions when my salary increases. I do not borrow to invest. I maintain an emergency fund so I don't touch this money. You signed it on a calm Sunday. You meant it. Your job is to keep your promise to your past self, not to invent theater for your present boredom. Rebalancing is the only tinkering the schedule asks of you, and even that can be automated with contributions. If you aim for 80-20 stocks, bonds, and a year of good returns drifts you to 86-14, you can send the next few months of contributions to bonds only until you're back in range. If the drift is large and contributions aren't enough, sell a piece of what's above target and buy what's below, ideally inside tax-advantaged accounts to avoid taxes. Rebalancing is not a prediction. It's a risk control dial and a way to harvest a little from what ran to feed what lagged. It's buying low and selling high without the crystal ball cosplay. If you're investing for a specific goal with a date, education in 8 years, a home in 5, retirement on a known horizon, your schedule gets a glide path. You don't hold the same risk at age 64 as you did at 34. You bake in gradual changes that move a slice of your contributions towards safer assets as the date approaches, not because you fear markets, but because you respect sequence risk, the danger that a bad year right before your withdrawal forces you to sell low. Dollar cost averaging brought you up the mountain. A glide path brings you down without tripping on a rock in the last mile. People blow up plans by changing risk at the worst time. The schedule eliminates most of that drama by having rules before feelings. Couples need choreography. If you share finances, you'll decide what fixed means together and which accounts fund which goals. The smoothest approach is to automate the household minimum to retirement plans first, match captured. Then route extra to the highest priority joint goal, house fund, debt attack, or additional investing. Each person can keep a small personal investing sandbox for curiosity. You agree not to sabotage the core for the sandbox. You agree to raise the household contribution when raises arrive. Apply the raise rule, so most of the increase flows to the schedule and a small slice upgrades life, so nobody feels like prosperity got stolen by a spreadsheet. Variable income demands percentages. If your cash flow swings, you can still set it and forget it by setting rules that say 10% of gross revenue moves to taxes, 10% to oxygen, 15% to investing, 5% to big bills anytime invoices clear. You'll have lean months where the transfers are small and fat months where they're juicy. The win is identity, not any single deposit. You remained an investor through variability. That identity is priceless in the years where fear would have made you pause and lose turns on the board you can never get back. You will be tempted to pause contributions until things calm down. News, things don't calm down. The headlines rotate their costumes. Wars, elections, inflation prints, rate cuts, rate hikes, earnings seasons, pandemics, crypto winters, bubbles in something you didn't know existed last year. The calm you're waiting for is an internal state, not a headline. If your schedule is causing anxiety, adjust the amount so it's small enough to feel doable even in bad weeks, and then don't touch the cadence. If you must pause because your cash flow truly broke, job loss, emergency, write a restart rule now with a date and a number so the pause doesn't metastasize into a lifestyle. Your future thanks you for making re-entry automatic instead of aspirational. There are edges to discipline that don't feel like discipline. One is earmarking windfalls. If you receive a tax refund, bonus, or gift, set a split you can live with before the money ever lands. 70% to your schedule, immediate lump plus a bump to monthly contributions, 20% to big bills or debt cleanup, 10% to joy. You get the emotional payoff of the windfall without asking your schedule to compete with new desires it can't win against. Another edge, every time your contribution increases, say from 300 euros to 350 euros, rename the transfer in your banking app so the new amount sings at you. Quiet wealth, 350 euros every first. Words and numbers together make habits sticky. You might wonder how all of this fits with the rest of your financial plan: debt, housing, education, retirement. Dollar cost averaging is the investing engine. The rest of the car still matters. You make minimum debt payments automatically. Extra payments live in the growth bucket, competing rationally with investing based on interest rates and your risk tolerance. High APR credit card balances are a fire. You put them out fast, perhaps doing a hybrid where you keep tiny automatic investing alive, 25 to 50 euros per payday, while throwing most surplus at the flames. Housing decisions sit alongside. Buying a home is a lifestyle and balance sheet choice with its own return profile. It is not a replacement for owning productive businesses via the stock market. You can contribute to both buckets on different cadences, mortgage on the first, investments on the third, without turning your brain into a corkboard of quotes. If you want proof that dollar cost averaging works, you won't find it in a single chart with a single arrow. You'll find it in households that quietly arrive wealthy with no theatrics. The evidence sits in retirement accounts that grew by boredom, in taxable accounts that started as 100 euros per month and now throw off dividends you don't notice until you notice your life costs less than it used to. The people who arrive there usually can't tell you the PE of the index. They can tell you which day of the week their transfers run and how many years they've kept the streak. Streaks are the real alpha in personal finance. Professionals chase basis points. Civilians should chase streaks. The most important sentence in your plan is the simplest. I invest X euros on Y schedule into Z fund, and I do not stop. Write it. Tape it inside a cabinet, save it as your screensaver, share it with one friend who will ask, did the transfer hit? On the days you want to be creative. Creativity belongs in your life, not in your investing. Your investments should be a white noise machine, always on, strangely soothing, instantly forgettable. One day, 5, 10, 15 years from now, you will open an account you rarely think about and blink at the number. It will not feel heroic because none of your deposits felt heroic. It will feel inevitable. That's the trick. We build inevitability not with brilliance, but with boredom. Dollar cost averaging is the boredom you can love because it frees your best energy for the parts of life markets can't compound for you. Leaps in skill, deeper friendships, healthier routines, moments you didn't scroll past because you were busy checking a quote. Set it, forget it, remember your life instead.